Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that President Obama, and I talked about this in the live stream on H.A. Goodman, I believe purely speculation, and hit subscribe to this channel right now, H.A. Goodman's other channel, purely speculation. But I do believe that the reality that President Obama either orchestrated or was at the beginning of a conspiracy to set up and frame Trump as a Kremlin operative, which we now know is completely false. There was never a shred of evidence. But this right here, and you will hear exactly why I think President Obama has essentially convicted John Brennan, Clapper, Comey, and others, but especially Brennan. New evidence uncovers Obama-directed creation of false intelligence report used to launch years-long coup to undermine President Trump and the American people. This is the ODNI declassified report. There's 12 references here to Brennan. 12 references. And we talked about that. Brennan did not have any evidence to justify or to initiate a probe. None. The evidence was fabricated. But here we have all these different. Brennan misled the IC. Brennan misled lawmakers. There's Brennan overruled senior officials. Brennan lied and denied using the dossier. Right here, John Brennan lied and denied using the dossier. When asked, you can see his. You can see right here, he does not tell the truth. Check this out.
They did so without coordination, collusion, or conspiring with any of the candidates. So they have a history of doing it. We'll lay that aside for a minute. 2016 electoral process. When you learned of Russian efforts, did you have evidence of a connection between the Trump campaign and Russian state actors?
Now, in the comments section, who is sitting behind Trey Gowdy? But he admits he had no evidence, and then he misleads Congress right here and commits perjury.
As I said, Mr. Gowdy, I don't do evidence. And we were uncovering information and intelligence about interactions and contacts between U.S. persons and the Russians. And as we came upon that, we would share it with the Bureau.
I appreciate that you don't do evidence, Director Brennan. Unfortunately, that's what I do. That's the word we use. You use the word assessment. You use the word tradecraft. I use the word evidence. And the good news for me is lots of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle use the word evidence too. One of my colleagues said there is more than circumstantial evidence of collusion between the Russians and the Trump campaign. Now, there are only two types of evidence. There's circumstantial and direct. So if it's more than circumstantial, by necessity, it has to be direct. Those aren't my words. Those are the words of one of my colleagues on the other side of this very committee. Another Democrat colleague on the other side of this committee also used the word evidence, that he has seen evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russians. And yet a third California Democrat said she had seen no evidence of collusion. So that's three different members of Congress from the same state using the same word, which is evidence. And that's the word that my fellow citizens understand, evidence. Assessment is your vernacular. Tradecraft is your vernacular. You and I both know what the word evidence means. And we're not getting into whether or not you corroborated, contradicted, examined, cross-examined. We're not getting into how you tested and probed the reliability of that evidence. It's a really simple question. Did evidence exist of collusion, coordination, conspiracy between the Trump campaign and Russian state actors at the time you learned of 2016 efforts?
I encountered and am aware of information and intelligence that revealed contacts and interactions between
Perjury, it's either an overt lie or misleading Congress. What took place, ladies and gentlemen, was the Steele dossier was literally purchased by Clinton and the DNC, utilized by Brennan and others. I think that President Obama is going to be an integral part, potentially, possibly, this is pure speculation. There's a 1% chance he gets indicted. I think 99% chance that he will never, ever, ever get indicted. President Obama, I don't believe, will get indicted for a number of reasons, even though he either was at the forefront of all of this. The issue is that the fact that President Trump, at Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, Ratcliffe at the CIA, Kash Patel at the FBI, the fact that they started all of this with a new evidence uncovers Obama-directed creation. James Clapper blamed President Obama on CNN when he was asked years back. He said, well, it was at the president's direction. I explained in the live stream, I think it's speculation, but if President Obama helps President Trump convict Brennan, Comey, all these people, and indict Hillary Clinton, he then takes full control of the Democratic Party's future and circumvents any 1% chance of an indictment for spearheading or being at the head of this Obama-directed creation of false intelligence report. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. This is huge.